going to bring her out, we're going to have a nice time. All you've got to do is make her feel welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Karan Ashley's here!
Hello!
Take a seat on the sofa.
What time is it, guys? Yes. They're ready.
You did that, I was like, about 4:15, I think,
yeah.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
See, do you know what, already, I'm like, we're going to be best friends. You have the best energy.
Thank you. I have to stay up because otherwise I'd fall asleep at any moment.
It's alright, after this, we'll reserve you a beanbag.
Yeah, I'll never get up. They'll just come get me tomorrow.
Yeah, you just straight up.
The jet lag is so bad.
Oh, yeah. I was saying to Karen, I've come all the way from London, so my jet lag's a bit worse than yours.
Oh.
Where have you flown in from?
Los Angeles.
Oh, everyone LA. Never out of LA, is it?
Oh, it's amazing, yeah. But it's a long flight to get to Belgium.
Yeah. You're on the wrong side of America for it to be easy.
I know. I need to move to New York or something. I don't know.
You need to go to New York for a week, and then...
yes!
Just
see?
pop your way
That's
over.
how I'm supposed to do it. Thank you.
How long have you been in LA for?
Since I started doing Power Rangers.
Oh, really?
They actually moved me to LA from Texas when I got the part.
You're Texan?
Yeah.
You've got an LA accent.
I know. I think because I started in the business so young. Like I was 12 when I first started.
What?
Yeah. So they would always give us classes and they would make us lose that Texas accent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I started so young, I think I just never got one.
Did you have a Texan accent?
I think I did. Sometimes I say things and my husband just like cracks up. He thinks I'm the funniest person in the world. He says I make up words, but that comes from Texas.
Oh no. See, I'm from the north of England and this is soft now. But as soon as I go home for 2 days, I'm like...
Yeah. Well, we've gone and I was like, they're speaking the wrong English. Like I could not understand. And I was like, this is crazy. But yeah, they couldn't understand me either. I would go to London and everywhere I went, I would get the wrong food.
Oh, really?
And I was like, what is happening? Why do they keep bringing me the wrong food? And finally, a lady was like, you talk too fast.
Oh, really?
And I was like, that's what it is. Okay. So then I slowed down. But yeah, I was like, okay, makes sense.
Amazing. Do you miss Texas?
No, because I go there all the time. My parents are still there, my sisters, my brother, everyone's still there. So I go and visit at least, 2 or 3 times a year. So.
You see, it's weird, isn't it? Texas is one of those places that everyone has the same image of, but I imagine it's nothing like everyone.
Yeah. When I moved to California, everyone was like, do you have a horse?
Yeah.
Where's your cowboy hat? Where's your cowboy boots? And I was like, I've never owned a horse. I did have a cowboy hat when I was a kid, but that was like fun, like it was a joke. But yeah, they think you have a ranch and you have a horse, and yeah, so it's completely not like what you think.
Yeah. Did you move to LA to act then?
Yeah, well it was funny because when I was a kid, I basically was like, I'm gonna move to LA. I'm gonna go to film school, I'm gonna be an actress. And I went to an audition, literally like a month after I graduated high school. But I was like, I'm gonna go to college first in Texas for like a year. Then I'm gonna go to LA. Well, I went to that audition, 4 days later, I become a Power Ranger, and I live in LA. So it was like, yes! Well, I was like so excited because I was like, I don't have to sleep on anyone's couch. Because that was my thought, I'm gonna have to sleep on someone's couch, I'm gonna go and...
Wait tables, 6-7 years later.
I had the whole plan, and thank God I booked Power Rangers because they moved me out there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 4 days.
That's not the LA story, is it?
No, not at all. And it's, I feel so lucky because, every kid wants to be a superhero. I was like the kid who would tie the towel around my neck and ride my little bike, and I thought I was Wonder Woman. So to become a Power Ranger, it was like my chance of becoming Wonder Woman, kind of.
Oh no, it's incredible. I was going to say, everyone wants to be a Power Ranger.
Yeah, now I find out, who knew?
But I mean, again, we talk a lot about with guests because of the sort of shows they are, but we talk a lot about legacy. But again, we're just talking to Brian just before about how all these shows now, because of things like Netflix, kids have got them again and stuff like that. And it's lovely to see parents who loved it going, We get this
Yeah,
together.
it's so crazy because we'll go, like, you know, we're signing autographs or whatever, and a family comes up, and you instantly go to the little kid, and you're like, oh, you're so cute. And then you're like, who do I make this out to? And the dad's like, pushes the kid out of the way. He's like, the autograph's for me. And you're like, oh, my bad. Like, he's the OG Power Ranger fan. He's like, forget the kid. I'm the fan. I'm the one who loves it. But it's crazy. Like you said, Netflix. I mean, from 3 until 83, everyone has watched Power Rangers, and it's so crazy because we'll get parents who are like, I had to watch your show 100 times. And we're like, okay, sorry, you know. But they were like, no, my kids loved it, and you were a good babysitter. So there you go. And I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, they just left them with you guys. I mean, that's the good thing about Power Rangers, and one of the reasons it got there, and the reasons that, like, parents allowed it. Because, yeah, it's martial arts and it's violent, but the moral code of it is the sentiment.
Yeah, and that was one of the beautiful things. Like I always say, one of the things that we didn't talk about, but was in every episode, was we had such a diverse cast.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other show in the history of television who's had over 100 Power Rangers, and there's at least one kid that looks like every kid in this Comic-Con. Someone you could directly identify with, whether it be a girl, whether it be a boy, whether it be your background, or it was the guy who was the jock or the nerd or the sassy girl.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like literally you've got someone who looks like you, and every culture's been represented on Power Rangers, and I'm proud of that.
Do you know that it should be massively? The beautiful thing about that as well is when I watched as a kid, and I'm sure when most people watch as a kid, the beautiful thing is you don't notice it, but it's there for you, and that's what's lovely. It's only later where you go, oh my god, I have that. Especially like Power Rangers, I'm trying to think of the first season, what year that'll be. But
it was 1993.
Winning in 1993, I was good remember it was 94, 95 then.
Yeah.
But yeah, 93, you definitely wouldn't get that.
Yeah, and it was just like that unsung life lesson that everyone, if given a chance, you could all be friends.
Yeah.
And you could all save the world, and everyone was good enough to be the hero, you know? And I just thought that's how, you know, we should look at life now, you know? But I love it. That's what it's about. That's what it's always been about, and they continue to do that.
I knew we'd be best friends.
Yes!
Just, honestly, it's so nice to be around.
Thank you.
What was I going to say? When did you come into Power Rangers then?
I came in 94,
Yeah, so you were right,
Yeah, season 2, 3, and I did the movie.
Because, so I thought, but you were the second yellow Power Ranger?
Yes.
So had you watched it before,
Surprisingly, no.
Oh, really?
I had not seen it because I was trying to graduate high school. So I was just I kind of missed it, and my friend told me about it. She saw an ad in the newspaper and was like, you should go audition for this show. They want teenagers. And we thought we were joining the cast. We didn't know that we were replacing people. And so, but I had no clue. But luckily for me, when I showed up, the show was a huge hit. And there were, just in Dallas, there were like 10,000 people auditioning that day. And so we had to wait for hours.
everyone turned up on their horse with the...
We had to wait for hours, and there was a guy like right in front of me, and he basically, I was like, I don't know anything about the show, and he told me everything about the show. So by the time I got there, I knew Kimberly would be my best friend. I knew, there's 2 girls. I knew that we love to go shopping. So then, and we did karate. So I was like, okay, I think I got it. And I went in, and I had like 30 seconds to impress them. And luckily I did, and I came back that afternoon, and that like 10,000 turned into like 100. And I was like, oh wow, and there was literally every kind of kid, every kind of teenager, no demand. So I was like, okay, it could be anybody's job, so you just gotta do your best. And I auditioned again, but this time they taped us for producers. And I think 3 days later they called me and said, can you fly to LA tomorrow? And I was like, yeah. And I watched an episode just so that I really could get it. And we auditioned all day. And it was funny because at that audition, I remember seeing Steve and I remember seeing Johnny. And the 3 of us all came from Dallas, the Dallas audition.
Oh, wow.
And then we found out, like they had auditioned people in New York, Dallas, in Orlando, Atlanta, like they've been searching nationwide, and Dallas was one of the last cities.
I wonder what it is around you Texans from Dallas.
I don't know, the Texans, yeah.
It's the Angel Grove vibe.
Yeah, totally, yeah. And there are actually a lot of Power Rangers that come from Texas, which is weird. I don't know why. I think, I don't know.
It's one of those things that with programs like that sort of stuff, but when you find out that sort of coincidence, you're like, why?
Yeah, why? Yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, and so we auditioned, and that afternoon, they literally put us all in a room and were like, you and you got it. We were like, ah!
So when you auditioned, this open audition, did you have any martial arts background?
No, you had to either be a dancer, a martial artist, or a gymnast, and I was a dancer.
Oh wow.
So, but when I went back for my second...
Oh, now I see it in the fight.
Yeah. And when I went back for my second audition for the producers, actually my third audition, they said, can you put some kicks and punches? So you had to be athletic. And I was like, sure. And yeah, but I didn't know anything. But dancing was good because I could learn choreography.
Yeah.
And learning to fight, you learn choreography, essentially.
Flexibility as well, balance.
Exactly.
Yeah. This will surprise you. Not a dancer.
Not a dancer?
Just fall over if I go on one leg.
You're like, ah!
Terrible.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
I'll
you can be a putty.
Yeah. Just get beaten up.
Yeah.
Thank you. What was I going to say then? So with your 30-second open audition, can you remember what you did in it?
Yeah. Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday. Literally, I went in and she said, okay, what are you going to do? Are you a dancer, a martial artist, or gymnast? And I was like, I'm a dancer. And she was like, okay, dance. And I was like, well, I brought music. And she goes, no, we don't have a radio. Dance. And so you just had to dance. No music, nothing. And luckily, I was like, okay, great. And so I just did my thing. And then she was like, okay. And then she was like, okay, go ahead and read your script. And so I read my script, and she's like, can you come back this afternoon? And I was like, sure. And I was like, but she was like a robot. Like, she didn't smile, she didn't nothing. And it wasn't until we came back that afternoon, and then she was like, hi, I'm so glad you're back. And I was like, who is this lady? They do that on purpose to kind of spook you.
It's weird auditions though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes those short ones, they're essentially going, can you walk, can you talk?
Yeah.
Do I know your face?
And I remember when we auditioned for the producers, I walked in, and they were so nice. They were completely opposite. They were like, hi, and we did our audition. And one part of the audition was they just brought us back in, and they just sat us there, and they just talked to us for 20 minutes. They just, what do you like to do? How is life? At the time they were like, oh, you graduated from high school. What did you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to be an actress. I want to go to college, be a film student. They just wanted to know who we were. And I thought that was very important because, I think, if you ever meet Power Rangers, I know that there have been some that have come to Belgium. They're all really nice. Yeah, there's one right there.
Everyone can see him, right?
Yeah. But they're really nice people. And I think that that's kind of part of it. They wanted to make sure that we were well-adjusted young adults. They didn't want anyone who was kind of out there.
That's good though. I mean, and again, that's... we were talking to Chris earlier about Harry Potter, and when there's a lot of young people on set, there is that extra commitment to go, we can't turn these people into monsters, because that can happen so easily, so we have to keep them grounded, with good balanced people.
Totally, I agree. Luckily, when I was a kid, I would work, but my mom or someone would always be with me. But by the time I did Power Rangers, I was already 18, so I was by myself. But still, they were very they wanted to make sure that you were good.
Good. And they never stopped, those parents, do they?
I know, right?
They never stop.
I know. My mom, when I was coming here, she was like, you text me when you get there, make sure you're okay. And I'm like, okay, Mom.
It just never stops, does it?
Yeah, I was in the middle of the night, so I was like, here.
It's so weird as well when you go home and you're with family, you just revert back. So that's
oh yeah, I'm the baby. So it's my mom, I'll go home and she cooks for me, she'll do my laundry. It's I've never been on my own ever.
Have you got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I've got 5 sisters and 1 brother.
What?
Yeah, I'm the baby. Yeah, big family.
What?
Yeah. And they always like make fun.
That one brother as well.
Yeah. He's spoiled, actually. He's very spoiled. But yeah, they treat me like I'm 10 years old, you know.
Really?
My sisters try to boss me around.
It's great, just straight back into it.
Yeah, and the kids, of course, the kids love me, so they're like, here, and then they leave, and I'm like, I've got 10 kids all of a sudden.
Are there any other actors in the family, or are they all?
Well, you know what? I think one of the kids will be. Like, they're very into it.
Oh, really?
I remember one of my nephews, he was super shy, and I was like, okay, we gotta go, you know, we're at a Comic-Con, so I was like, let's go live on Facebook. And he was like, hi guys, and he was talking, and I was like, who is this kid?
Yeah.
So I think he might be the one. He's
so
really
savvy.
personable.
So cameras on them, like.
Yeah. Well, I have a 5-year-old niece, and literally she's like, she does pretend YouTube videos. And she's like, hi guys, I'm Braylee, and if you like my video, click like. And I'm just like, what, like 5 years old, she knows how to do it. Those two, I'm like, okay, one of those two, they're gonna do it. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't want them to, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the way of the world now, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just, we gotta embrace it. Just going on, because obviously Power Rangers is such a huge thing, like it's phenomenal, but I noticed your jumper. Is that just for May the 4th, or are you into?
No, I love Star Wars, and I really love like the new series that have been coming out. Like I was one of those fans who I didn't remember watching it as a kid, but I obviously knew about it. But I started watching it as an adult and really got into it, and then the new movies just sealed the deal. And plus, this is just a shout out to Peter Mayhew, who just passed away.
Yeah.
He was a really good friend of ours. I always say we're on this traveling circus where we travel. Yeah, we travel all around the world, and I feel like so blessed because he was one of those people who we had the same agent for a while, and so we did a lot of shows together. And so this was for Peter. I was like, may the 4th be with you, right? Yeah. Legend.
Oh, it's nice as well when, because a lot of Power Rangers is now coming to conventions. There's obviously specialised ones. So it's nice when someone comes to conventions, but they also love everything that's here.
Yeah, I fangirl all the time. There have been so many legends that I've met, and I was like, what kind of life am I living? Like, this is so cool that I get to meet such talented people, and then we get to travel the world together, and it's like, man, it's like very cool.
Have you ever met someone where you just go, you just see
Chris Evans, we met the whole cast of
Chris Pine in my head. But
yeah. I would die.
One of the Chris's.
I would die for him too. But no, Chris Evans was we were in, I think, Salt Lake City, Utah, and there was a Comic-Con there, and it was like the Beatles. He would walk in the room, and the whole cast of Captain America was there, and they was like, and they were the nicest people. And then I also met Daniel Radcliffe from Harry Potter, and it was funny, we were at a Comic-Con in London, and we walked up to him, and we were like, and he was like, oh my God, I grew up watching you guys. And we're like, no, we love you. It was we all fangirled. Power Rangers were fangirling over him, and he was fangirling over us. It was a beautiful moment.
That's great.
Super nice.
Warm your heart. Yeah. But that's the weird thing no one ever tells you, I imagine, when something becomes so big that you don't switch off that old you. When you meet someone, you're still the same.
Yeah. No, I am totally. I'm all in when I meet people, and especially people I really look up to. I let them know.
Oh my God, I was doing it. There's been so many times where I've been in the same situation. You're in a monologue, so they're like, oh my God.
I have no They always say you have no cool points or no chill. I have no chill. I'm gonna let you know that I think you're awesome.
I like that a lot. I'm just going to check the time, because what's been happening today is I get too into talking to people and then we don't have time for questions. We've got a bit of time yet.
Okay.
I get very worried about it.
I could talk forever.
Yeah, me too. And then
we're best friends, I know this.
Yeah. And then, it's 9 o'clock. See ya. But we will open at the floor for questions, so if you've got any, get them in your head, and we will come to you very shortly. But let's keep chatting, because this is so much fun. But when was the point when you realised that Power Rangers moved beyond a show of its time to something that was just like say this sort of thing.
You know what, I still get those moments all the time. I remember when we were on the show, they would always come to us and they would say, "You're the biggest show in the world." And we were like, "Oh yeah," like, I mean, but like if you think about that, like what does that mean, you know? And we never really got it, but it's almost like, it's so cool that now we do Comic-Cons and we really go all over the world, but you just realize, and like I think recently, like I was just last year, we went to Jakarta, Indonesia to a Comic-Con, and you know, the people are fabulous, it was just amazing, but they could not speak English, but they could sing the theme song to Power Rangers, like word for word. And that's when I was like, okay, this is crazy. Like we can't communicate, but you know the words to the song. They knew the characters, and I mean, it's just moments like that when you're like,
in a weird way, that's almost the exact plot of Close Encounters.
Yes, and it's just like, what the heck? So moments like that, and I think when, you know, like you said, when a family comes up and it's like a little 3-year-old knows it, the father knows it, and their grandparents know it. Like it's like, okay, this is bananas.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're in that like really early, you're basically first generation Power Rangers, so you didn't have any of that weight of legacy that you're walking into.
Right.
So like, you're just doing a show, I imagine, and just having fun,
I always say Mighty Morphin, like we had it the best, because back then, the show would come on every day. So it's like, there are hundreds of Mighty Morphin episodes, and they really like, took their time to develop the characters, and we had family, and I mean, the characters went through so much, and so I think that's why people really hold on to our season, the original season, because they had so much they really got to know us, like these kids were real, you know, and we had a lot of fun just bringing them to life, so.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is this true? Now, I'm sure I've talked to someone about this, but I can't remember. So just before you got on, the first season, that was a different show that they shot the American Angel Grove scenes to, wasn't it? Am I right in that? So
no,
like the actual fight scenes were...
Well, the fight scenes were Japanese footage from the Super
And there was
Sentai.
different people, because
Yes.
But that sort of formed the way that the Power Rangers moved and stuff.
Yes.
Because there is that thing because your face is covered in the suit, you have to almost clown in terms of like how much you have to punctuate.
Well, they're so like animated, you know, and so they wanted to copy that footage and make sure,
And that vibe was never lost.
Exactly.
So did you find that weird when you first got that suit? You had to probably like...
Yeah, I was like, why do we have to make such big gestures, you know? And by season 2, they'd run out of footage, or at least they had used it to the point where it's like, okay, we can't use this again. They're starting to recognize it. So they had to start refilming a lot of the action stuff in the suits. But yeah. So I kind of like the fact that I always said, well, we are teenagers with attitude. We are, you know, teenagers are very dramatic. So maybe that's why we move so crazy.
That was one of the things that made it big, because kids watching it, they could copy that sort of mannerism, and that's what makes it fun, and then you play it, and then
Totally. And everybody had a favorite color, and like you and all your friends could
the arguments over who you were going to be.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And it was like always like fighting over who was going to be Tommy or who was going to be the Red Ranger, right?
So it's always black for me.
Favorite
color?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I love the fact that there were always 2 girls, so it's like, you know, the girls and the boys had to play together.
Wasn't one of the Japanese footage, wasn't it 4 boys and 1 girl?
Exactly, yeah, that's why the Yellow Ranger doesn't have a skirt.
Oh!
Yeah, we never had a skirt because, you know, the original. You would morph and become a man, yeah.
Oh, wow. It's so cool as well, like I say, like it just, exactly what you say, it just became so massive, and it just never went away, and it's just incredible. I always love, because I've talked to a few Power Rangers now, always fascinated. Any injuries?
No, thankfully no.
Really?
Our stunt team was really good at keeping us, or at least attempting to keep us safe, and they always knew that if there was an injury, then, you know, there wouldn't be a TV show, or there would be someone who couldn't work. So they were very adamant about letting the stunt doubles do the hard, you know, the big fall or the big.
Good for you, but
yeah. I was like, do it, because my stunt double was amazing. Like, she was the kickboxing champion in America at the time.
Wow.
So she was a total badass. So like, she could flip, and everything she did was better than what I could do. So I was like, do 10 flips, and she would just do it. And it was amazing.
Come on, do 10
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, because like obviously you're all teenagers, young people at the time. I didn't know if there'd be that sort of like all that energy, like, oh, we're gonna do it ourselves.
Well, no, I think all the guys wanted to. Like the guys wanted to do everything, but then there were times where they were like, look, we can't, you know, you can't, because God forbid you land on the, you know, you land on your foot wrong or anything.
Yeah.
We can't not have you. So.
Fair enough. Right, I am going to open the floor because we want to give you time to ask some questions. So if you've got a question, please put your hand up. We will get the microphone to you. First question is always the hardest. Come on, don't be shy again.
Don't be
shy. We got one there. Yes.
I would be asleep if I was on that beanbag.
Oh, I mean, it looks so inviting.
I'm so jelly right now. Yeah.
We asked the previous Razor actor, so I'm going to ask you also. Have you ever stolen something from the set?
No, but I should have. I was like so mad because like so many of my cast members stole like costumes, they stole morphers, they stole communicators, and I was like, why didn't y'all tell me it was still your costume day? I would have done it.
Yeah.
I thought if we stole something, we would get fired. Like I was just like terrified. But if I go back on that, that's probably why I haven't gone back on the set, because I'm gonna take everything.
Just there with a trolley.
I'm taking all of it. Yeah. And they're like, what are you gonna do? Fire me? Yeah.
What would you take? One item.
Oh, I would take my costume.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I should have that costume instead of it. One of my costumes is in Hollywood Studios in Orlando at Disneyland.
I should have
that. Yeah. I should have that. It shouldn't be there. It should be at my house.
Oh wow.
On a mannequin.
You should be allowed to go in and just go, I'm just taking this bag.
Right, my picture's there. I'm like, it's mine.
Yeah. Just swap it out with whatever you're wearing.
Yeah, I'll put my clothes, my outfit, my Star Wars hoodie.
Any more questions? And we got one here, Thomas, at the front.
Hello, and thank you for coming to Belgium.
Thank you.
So I was wondering, since you started acting so young and the show was so big, what was it like for an 18-year-old to be part of something like that?
It was crazy. I mean, I always compare it to winning the golden ticket. Like, I'm happy that I was naive, that I didn't know how big the show was, or I didn't realize, because I think I would have probably had more pressure. But because I didn't know, I was just like, I don't know, it's like you have that confidence, you know? But it was total ignorant confidence though. But we had a moment where we were promoting the movie and we did the Chinese hand and footprint at Mann's Chinese Theater. And at that moment, I was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Like they had closed down Hollywood Boulevard, there were paparazzi. I mean, it was like a Hollywood moment. And I just remembered seeing like old Hollywood stars do that. And I was like, wow, we're doing this. This is crazy. But yeah, I think because I didn't really know, that was probably a good thing, you know? I didn't get it until later.
Yeah.
So.
It's when was that moment? Do you remember, or is it just sort of you just look back and go, oh what?
No, at that moment I was like, it sunk in a little bit.
Oh,
at that
really?
moment.
Right there.
Yeah, because I was just like, I mean, it was just crazy. I never thought in my life I would do something like that. So, yeah, I don't know, bizarre.
It's great though. It's like these are the things you want to hear, because there are so many of those LA stories where they just chews people up. So there's someone to go and keep that positivity.
I also think too, because the cast was young, everyone was kind of young. The original cast was a little older than us, but we were still all young. So I think that helped because everybody was kind of in the same age range.
Yeah. Oh, always helps. You all right? Do you want? I can offer you some. No, I can't.
I'm allergic to Belgium. I keep coughing and sneezing. I know, not in a bad way, but like in a pollen way.
Oh.
In pollen, like it's very.
Hay fever,
yeah. Oh, very a lot of hay
Don't go
fever.
to London at the moment. Oh, it's
I
terrible.
know. Well, that's why my voice is very scratchy.
That's
Like,
why mine too.
Yeah.
Best friends.
Best friends.
We can hide from pollen together.
Yeah.
That'd be an episode.
Allergic in a pollen way. Not like I love Belgium.
That'd be an episode of Power Rangers. I'd watch you fighting pollen.
Yeah. I'd be taken out. Like I'm the worst. I'm allergic to everything outside.
You know what that monster would look like.
Yeah.
Just flying off them.
I fight that monster all the time.
Do you have a monster that sticks in your mind, by the way?
You know, I love like all the originals, like, you know, Ivan Ooze, Lord Zed, Rita. The putties were always like, I love the putties. But yeah, those are the ones I love the most. Even though every week we'd have a new monster to fight, I just loved them. I thought they were so funny and, you know, it was just really good.
Yeah, I think they're the ones that definitely jump out and stick with you.
Yeah.
Definitely. Have we got any more questions before we close down? Oh, Thomas is on it. He's on it. He's so good today.
He's on it.
He's always good, to be honest.
When they go over to Zeal, was it your choice to stop with Power Rangers, or was it the producer's choice?
It was my choice, actually. Yeah. I mean, the show, working on the show was wonderful. But you've heard the rumors, like we didn't have the best bosses. Yeah, so it was just one of those things where I felt like I had done the show, and it started getting to a point where I felt like they didn't appreciate us, you know, and everyone who left the show was usually for the same reason, because of how you were treated, so. But yeah, it was my choice.
The movie, was it better than the show? Or did they treat you better a little more? Or?
Oh no, they were great to us in the movie. Yeah, it was unfortunate because, you know, Power Rangers at the time, you know, the first year it grossed over $1 billion, and unfortunately they were notoriously known, and they're still known for not really paying the actors, you know, and we didn't get any of the merchandising or anything like that. So it was just weird. It was one of those things where we worked really hard, but then there were times, you know, they would ask you to go work for free, and it was just like, we're not even, you know, a lot of the actors, especially season 1, will tell you, like they would share a house because, you know, it was expensive to live in LA, and they didn't get enough to even have their own place. So you didn't get rich off of Power Rangers.
Oh wow!
You got rich on knowledge, but not rich in your pocket. Yeah, it was interesting.
It's good that you all felt that and not like one, because there's something horrible when you hear about those shows where one person's getting all the preferential treatment and everyone else like.
Yeah.
So it's nice like you've got like camaraderie and stuff like that.
I remember we had like a break, and I had did a commercial, and I literally worked on this commercial for, I think it was like a day or 2 days. I made more on that commercial than I made in like 3 months working. Yeah, it was crazy, and so it was just like
90s commercial, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but you know what? I will say this: Power Rangers was a huge stepping stone.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where, I mean, I've done.
Yeah, you've done lots. I mean, we didn't even get onto it.
Yeah.
So I was really wanting to talk to you about it.
I've done 20 other things since then, but Power Rangers is what people love. It's what they want to talk about. So.
What's your favorite thing to do? Because you don't just act, do you? You do all sorts. So.
Well, yeah. Now, I mean, I always say I'm an actress at heart, number one. But I love producing. I love writing, and I just really have found joy in that because I love to create something and see it come to life. You know. It's unlike anything I've ever done. So I tell people all the time, especially people who are out there that are aspiring, you know, writers, producers, prop makers. I mean, I always say you should do it. You know, it's amazing.
There's that other thing. Just if anyone is in that thing where it's just finish it. even if it's not what you
Yes.
thought at the end, because
Yeah.
you can never look back at something you finished and say, I didn't finish that. You always went, well, I did that.
Exactly.
And what happens after is
It is what it is. And this day and age, you can get a camera
Put it in your pocket.
yeah, like people have shot films on their
Your Soderbergh
cell
did.
phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always say, like, you can do it. Just get your friends. Like, somebody run sound, somebody do wardrobe, somebody write the script,
Just
somebody.
light it well.
That's it. It's all about lighting. And if you're going to spend your money on the lighting, because you'll know the difference in.
Lighting and sound, you
Yeah,
can't cheat.
yeah. Those are the two things you can't. I mean, you know, those are the two things that matter the most. But all cameras nowadays are HD,
Yeah.
so you're on the level.
Yeah.
If you light it well, then you're there.
Yeah, you've done it.
Yeah,
You've done
you're
it.
there.
Any more questions we could take? Yeah, quick. 1, yeah, 2, 3. Well, then we'll finish it. So 1, 2, 3, and we're in.
Yes.
Hello. A much simpler question, I think. Besides yourself, what character from the show, like Tommy, Jason, Trini, not Trini, but which character was your favorite character watching the show? As you know, if you watch the show yourself at home, which character was the one you liked the most?
Well, I would actually say Trini, because I say Trini got the party started, and I think that's why when I got on the show, I didn't realize we were replacing people. But the minute we found out, I was like, oh my gosh! Like, it was 3 of the most popular characters on the show. But I admired the fact that she was like Aisha and Trini are so different. But I think if she wouldn't have been the way that she was, you know, the Yellow Ranger wouldn't have been as popular. So I always say she got the party started, you know, so I would have to give it up to her. Yeah.
Okay, we got someone else over this way. For the second time today during an interview, my alarm went off to tell me to stop, and I couldn't turn it off. And that's happened twice today now.
I didn't
really
hear it.
need to learn. It's on silent mode, so it's going. It's like, okay, stop that.
So hello, my question for you is, do you still get recognized on the streets?
Yeah, I think because of social media, you know, people follow us on social media, so they know what we look like now, and we do so many Comic-Cons. Like, I probably do like 25 shows a year, so we go everywhere, and it's like, the times that I'm at the grocery store, no makeup, in my sweats, they're like, Aisha, and I'm like, no! They're like, can I get a selfie? I'm like, no, absolutely not, no.
Never when you dress up for a night out.
Yeah. But those people, I'll tell them, no, you cannot have a selfie. Give me your address and I'll mail you a free autograph. I'll give you anything, just don't take a picture.
Amazing. We had one more right at the back. Someone in, I want to say Goku, but it might be Gohan? Yes.
Either one.
That's it.
Hi Karan. I'm a big fan of the Bulk and Skull characters.
Me too.
And I want to know what your best memories or experiences with them are.
Every time I'm around them, like, they are so funny. I hope, like we were talking about it earlier, I hope they bring them here, because they are literally, like, what they are on TV, they're the same thing in person. Like, they're like a comedy duo, and they just put on the best show, and they just do it all for the fans. But I guess some of my fondest memories of them are just the jokes they would play. I remember Catherine, when she first got on the show, they did a practical joke. Like, she went into her trailer or in her dressing room, and like, they put all of the furniture, like everyone's furniture, they put into her room. And it was like, she was like, oh my God. And then she went back, she went and did her scene, she came back, and all the furniture was gone. Like, they took everything out of the room and put it in their room. And then, like, it just kept going and kept going. And she was like, why are they doing this to me? And I was like, because they love you. But yeah, they're just such good people. And people think, oh, they're super funny, but they're like super smart. Like, some of the smartest people I know. But yeah, I just saw them. I was at a Comic-Con with them just like a couple weeks ago, and I love them. Some of the best actors.
Lovely. That, again, so nice when you just hear that. So imagine you turn around and go, they're awful.
I can't really say that about anybody.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like, we actually, I always say it was funny, but we actually all really got along, you know, and thank God, because we would work like 15-hour days, and if we didn't get along, it would have been terrible. But yeah, we actually all got along.
It shines through and it does show, and you can tell that sort of thing, which is lovely. Karen, I'm afraid we are out of time. This was really, really fun.
Darn it.
You have been amazing. Guys, you know what to do. She's come all the way from LA, so show her some love. Karen Ashley, everyone.
What time is it? What time is it? Yes!
It's also 5 p.m. Karen, thank you very much. We're going to set up for a DJ set, so stick around. But just one more time, everyone. Karen Ashley!